Wednesday, but baby, actually, it's our last Wednesday.
Let's go to Tuesday.
To Tuesday. This is our last Wednesday with you. I know it's always been a Wednesday, but we'll slide over to Tuesdays starting next week as the baseball season officially starts tomorrow. The Hot Corner will move. I repeat, will move from Wednesdays to Tuesdays from 7 to 9, same time, same place, just a different day. Joe Fisher next to me.
A very somber Wednesday.
It is a little bit of a somber Wednesday, but it's, have you ever had like a bad Christmas Eve?
Maybe.
Like, have you ever had a time where it was kind of like, food kind of got messed up, or
Mom drank too much,
or aunts and uncles didn't make it into town on time? Something like that happened. I feel like this is a somber day, but the reality is that tomorrow is a great day.
Well, it's also been a rough week for you. The Chunster.
Pat Chun is a blow, my friend. Kyle Smith is probably more of a blow.
How you doing, huh? I mean, that is cold-blooded.
Yeah, there are very few instances in which somebody leaves Wazoo for UW. That's tough. I'm sure there have been professors and teachers and things like that have done it. And
Mr. Simmons in AP Biology 105, that bastard.
And I'll never let it down.
No, I cannot believe he switched schools like that.
But Pat Chun is rough. But you know what I will say? I will say is UW, congratulations. Pat Chun is a wonderful AD. He will do great things for you.
Oh God, you're doing that? You're taking that angle?
What I will say is I wouldn't be shocked if Chun was a little perturbed by the fact that he was never mentioned in this Pac-2 kind of situation going forward. That was straight president stuff.
The Chunster?
So I wouldn't be shocked if there's a little two-part. Chun doesn't want to be an AD that has to deal with Mountain West and WCC. But I wouldn't be shocked if a little bit was like, hey, man, is this not my job? Am I not supposed to be the one to take this over?
He doesn't want the C-dub?
And, he was never asked questions. He was never given say over what we're doing here. So,
well, maybe he'll last longer than 6 months.
I
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for them. Although I hope he leaves for like Ohio State.
Hey, if he stays a year, I mean, that's better than the last guy.
Yeah, and so I think
setting records.
I think we also have to remember that even though, when we compare Wazoo and Oregon State, all right, and how this whole Pac-2 thing has gone down, I think one could argue that Washington State has been the more benefit of the two.
I shouldn't have brought this up. I got you way in your Wazoo pants.
No.
Way too Wazoo-y.
No. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to bring it back. Trust me. I think it's safe to say that as this was going on, Wazoo has probably done a better job than Oregon State in terms of on the field, on the court.
Oh, boy.
We did just win a game at the tournament.
Which type of court? The men's court or the women's court?
Fair point.
Here I am standing up for Beavs.
No, fair point.
What is going on?
Fair point. I think Wazoo has navigated this a little better than Oregon State. And that's not a trash to Oregon State, but we still have our football coach.
It kind of is starting to trash the program a bit here.
But what
spreading the cheeks and taking a dump all over.
But what I'm saying is whether the Oregon State women in basketball continue the thrive that they're doing in baseball, the men's baseball, like whatever they're doing, Wazoo had a really nice, albeit short, run in the tournament. We did win a game.
Well, since the Pac-2, formerly known as the Pac-12, only cares about ancillary sports, how's softball doing?
That I don't know, but what I will say...
Doesn't Wazoo have a good volleyball program?
We do have a good volleyball program.
See,
and a good soccer program, women's soccer program as well. We don't have a men's soccer program. Shout out Title IX. But the reality is at the end of the day, whether Wazoo is in the Sweet 16 tomorrow or not, this is what happens when you destroy conferences. That even though you can sit here and say that maybe Washington State has handled things a little better than Oregon State or been lucky, however you want to say it. You know, our coach didn't run to Michigan State. You know, our basketball coach did take the Stanford job, but I think whether we were in the Pac-12 or not, I think he was getting a better job.
Man, that's pretty cold too.
But the reality is
losing him to Stanford of all places.
Well, there's other stuff in that. I mean, he's from the Bay Area. His kid has autism,
I did hear that.
And Stanford's got that wonderful autism center to help take care of his kid. But I think
is that a real thing?
That is a real thing.
I was
but
say,
I think,
be careful there.
I think after this year, whether Kyle Smith got to the round of 32 or the Sweet 16, Kyle Smith was going to go. What I'm saying is the reality is no matter who handled it better during turmoil, I was texting with Brandon Sprague about this earlier. The inevitability is both of you just don't matter. And whether something's riding high in one sport or riding low in another or whatever it is, at the end of the day, Kyle Smith doesn't want to go back to the WCC. I just did that.
Boy, this
Kyle
is
Smith doesn't want to go to the Mountain West, or not Kyle Smith, sorry. Jonathan Smith doesn't want to go to the Mountain West. Like, I used to be the OC at UW, and I've been a head coach at a pretty decent school in the Pac-12. I'm not going backwards.
To make matters worse.
And Pat Chun is, I've built a program and I've done things here. I'm not going to go backwards.
To make matters worse for you, I Google Washington State softball, and the first thing that pops up is University of Washington softball. I don't know if you guys even have a program.
I don't know either.
That's rough.
Full disclosure.
That's rough.
Intramurals?
Yeah, maybe a club team.
This ain't intramurals.
Our men's soccer is a club team.
Let's see here.
Our men's soccer, D1 at Wazoo, is a club team.
Oh, shout out Title IX indeed then.
Well, best of luck, Chunster.
Yep. See you guys.
Man, I was going to just say, hey, how you guys doing? Happy hump day. But
I told Brandon Sprague I can't
Listen,
wait for football to be
yeah.
off the books. Like, can we just be a basketball school and can we just not care? Can we be an academic institution?
Listen,
because I would love that.
I
would absolutely love that.
Well, that boded so well for the Pac-12 being all about academics and Olympic sports.
Conference
Listen,
champions.
I came in and I gave you a kidney shot right off the bat. All right, that was a low blow.
I thought we were friends.
I know that was cold-blooded. Cold-blooded Rick James ring right to the forehead of Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, I will say, Joe, that is like Patrick coming in and saying, like, you know, Dak's not going to be a Cowboy after 2024, right?
Well,
and just kind of a buzz shot.
Well, he probably won't be.
Well, I wouldn't say that because, boy, could I care less. Why do I care about mediocre quarterbacks that make a lot of money?
Hey-o! Yeah, see Daniel Jones.
Now that is a shot.
And there's a liver shot right to me. Right
You guys ever seen the movie Great Outdoors?
Yes,
Dan
with
Aykroyd,
John
Candy.
Yep, Annette Bening.
I have not.
Yes.
Oh, you need to watch
Annette
it.
Bening, the unsung hero of that movie. She's so great.
That entire
She's
cast.
clearly like the real actor of the bunch.
Absolutely.
But it is a Dan Aykroyd, John Candy movie.
A solid 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There is a moment.
I will not be watching
There
that.
is a moment in that movie where John Candy goes, "That was a shot." Dan Aykroyd goes, "That's not a shot," and then
This
says
is a
something and goes, "That is a shot."
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Great
You
Outdoors.
gotta be careful how you say things. You know, I watched that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah, ditto. My dad.
My parents love that movie. I own it on DVD.
So I'm assuming you were an Uncle Buck fan as well, because John Candy fans. Your parents were.
My sister was a big Uncle Buck fan.
Oh,
I have seen
such a
Uncle
good
Buck
I think when I
once.
was younger, I don't think I ever truly understood the beauty and talent that was John Candy.
Well,
I think it took me till I was older.
we all should know Uncle Buck because that is how John Hughes discovered Macaulay Culkin for Home Alone. But yeah,
Right.
John Candy, that was like his playground. Those movies, Great Outdoors,
The 7
oh my
Degrees of
goodness.
John Candy.
But I always remember Dan Aykroyd in that movie because he was the sleazy brother-in-law.
You know what these are made out of, right? Lips and moles.
Yeah.
and I
when-
love lips.
And when John Candy's wife goes, "Why don't you go find yourself a spin cycle?" And I was like, what does that mean? I was like, I had no idea what that means. And then you get older and you realize that her sister-in-law says, sometimes you just sit on top of the washing machine and
Gets the job done.
dot.
Wow.
Better than my husband.
Oh, Khalid Oakley.
That's
Well,
dirty. What?
Boy,
we're there.
yeah,
Huh?
we're already there. We're already there. Oakley Dokley. We got a show lined up for you guys. Just a reminder, the Hot Corner will move to Tuesdays next week. We'll still be here from 7 to 9, but we're going to move to Tuesdays. And Tuesdays will be great. We're happy to have you. Everyone's going to be here. It's going to be fantastic. Major League Baseball opens tomorrow.
Whoa.
Tomorrow is opening day.
I'm not ready. The Orioles won the spring training, so can we just call it a season and give them the World Series trophy?
I would also argue they made a play to win the offseason, too.
Oh, what's that? Tony Kemp?
When you trade for a Cy Young winner and an ace, Joe, I think you're doing okay. Look at this guy. This guy, what are you, high and mighty? What are you, high and mighty over here now?
It took me a week. I was all worried like a week ago when you were giving them the AL East crown. And
Mighty Joe Fish over here.
Now I'm ready.
Not to blow your skirt up even further, Joe, but I do have a Baltimore Orioles related question in fair or foul tonight.
Ooh, love that, love that. Fair or foul, speaking of that, we do that every single week, including Tuesdays next week at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. We got a lot to get to.
Did you see that they did get Tony Kemp, though?
I did see.
World Series confirmed.
You know what shocked me is that he's only played 9 seasons in baseball. I thought that dude was like a 20-year vet.
He's hitting his prime. Here we go.
We do got a lot to get to. We will finish our division preview this week with the vaunted American League West. Yeah! As I sit here with my Mariner cap on, ready to rumble. So we'll get into the American League West starting at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. But we do have some baseball agendas to get into.
Do you realize what I just did?
Well,
I have the power from this very laptop.
Yeah. Just do that?
Oh, yeah, buddy. Oh, yeah, buddy.
Why would you do that?
Doesn't have a huge load either.
Whoa, hey.
That was you.
I don't like this.
That was you.
I don't like this.
I'm going to have to pull that one out of there.
All right, we come back. Let's give an update. Are we really in the midst of one of those things? Like there's earmarks in baseball, right? The 94 strike, 61. There's earmarks in baseball. Are we really living in an earmark of baseball? The update on the gambling man.
Oh, dear God.
And if he is, Shohei Ohtani, where we should probably start with baseball every single time.
It's all just a big misunderstanding.
The most fascinating player in baseball somehow became more fascinating. We'll get to that next. The Hot Corner, Portland sports leader, 1080 The Fan.
Thanks to George McCoy and
503-864-6326. Your dollar goes further at Vancouver Ford. They treat you right before, during, after the sale. Guilty as charged. Got a Ford Bronco Sport in the parking lot, and they were absolutely fantastic.
Hey.
On the text line, JR chimes in, well, it must be the last Wednesday, as it'll never be a Wednesday again.
That is true. That is true.
What I'll tell you, JR, is if I end up
how a calendar works.
sitting in on another one of these fine shows we have here at 10 of the Fan, an Odyssey station, and it's a Wednesday, boy, you know I'm going to open with it must be a Wednesday.
Wednesday's
Or
dead.
it's always a Wednesday.
It's just dead.
We're net even on a listener though, because someone else on the Vancouver text line says Tuesday I may be able to listen to more. My Monday and Wednesday nights at work tend to suck worse. So he's texting on a Wednesday, but he says he'll be able to listen more. So that's TLH total listening hours or total time spent listening, whatever the metric is.
Look at this sales guy
that
in
corporate
here with
uses.
us.
I think it's what is it? Time spent TSL. That's what it is.
If it makes you feel better, USC lost their coach to SMU. You know what? That does kind of make me feel better.
I saw
It
that.
really does kind of make me feel
That's
better.
pretty
And-
awesome, actually.
It does kind of make me feel better.
I don't know if that was a matter of Andy was like, I'm probably going to get fired after this, not this year, but next year anyways, versus I need to get the hell out of here. This sucks.
I love that Andy Enfield was like, wait, I'm going to a worse basketball conference. I'm still going to get fired. I'll take the SMU job.
SMU. Did they go
Lies
to
me
the
that they're going to the ACC
Yes,
next year.
they are.
ACC? Okay, I was going to say, are they a Big 12 school?
They're going to a future dead conference. So congratulations.
Without any athletic money.
Congratulations.
And they're on the Gulf of Mexico, correct?
You think Craig James supports that his alma mater there?
I wonder how often they hit him up, or if at all.
SMU's in Dallas, though, right? Where the hell?
I don't know where SMU is.
the hell
It's
is
a
SMU?
religious school in Texas. And
Is it
that's-
Corpus Christi?
It is in Dallas.
It is in
No,
Dallas. yes.
Corpus Christi is.
It's on the Gulf. It's like right
That's
on the Gulf, right?
Yeah, that's why. Well,
TCU. It's TCU and Corpus Christi.
Dallas is
gotta look this up
maps places. Corpus Christi is just south of San Antonio. The
Let's
school
see.
that's there in Corpus Christi, there is like a UT Corpus Christi or
yeah,
something.
Texas
like that.
A&M, CC. I don't know. No, there's way too many damn Texas football and
Dude,
basketball
Texas is
schools.
huge. I don't know if you knew this. Very big state.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Very large. I'd
That's
like
what
to go
she
to.
said?
I'd like to go to Texas sometime. I just want. The,
I would too. I mean, there's definitely cool things.
I just
mean,
want
the
their
Esplanade
barbecue.
in San Antonio is supposed to be great. Austin is supposed to be, the Portland of Texas.
Hey, just north of Corpus Christi, right across a bridge, there is a Portland, Texas. How about that? I'm
it's
seeing
not
that
great.
I'm seeing that on the map right now.
Over under a better city, Portland, Texas, or Portland, Oregon?
What
Push.
year is it? Is
Push.
it now?
Now push.
Yeah, push.
Are we at a push? What
Corpus,
kind of line can I get at A on that?
Corpus Christi.
I'm a
home-
professional gambler now. I don't know if you guys know this.
Home of Texas State Aquarium. Oh yeah,
Professional gambler.
Ever since your A trip.
Yeah, hit too big on UNC.
Big day, baby.
Just don't mention Oakland or James Madison. And I'm good.
Portland, Texas.
So you parlayed all of those. Is that what I'm hearing?
I took a bet from Isaac Rupp, and it hit. And
Atta
I doubled
baby.
down on it and took the point spread on North Carolina, and it hit.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, felt good. Then I had to watch Wazoo lose.
Well, as long as you didn't hit the slot machines on the way out, you're good.
No, I don't do that. I'm not a degenerate. I'm not a sales rep at Odyssey. Jesus.
Now that a liver shot.
All right. The biggest story in baseball right now, and guys, we might spend 2 seggies on this, but I kind of want to start on this as if you've lived under a rock, Shohei Ohtani, his interpreter Ippei Mizuhara, excuse me, I can't speak today.
Did you know he went to UC Riverside? Wait.
Ippei was fired after the Los Angeles Dodgers discovered that he was in massive gambling debt with a illegal bookmaker in the state of
Allegedly.
California, where gambling is not legal in California, despite DraftKings here in Oregon and A. Chinook Wins in Chinook Wins is in Washington.
No,
Chinook
Chinook
Wins is
wins.
at
It's
Lincoln
down
City,
south.
bud.
What's Emerald Queen?
Emerald Queen. There's like 7 or 8.
There's a bunch in Washington
Yeah.
where gambling is legal. It's not legal in California.
No.
So do they? Are there no casinos in California?
No.
None.
How
Nope.
about that?
That's why you go to Carson, Nevada. That's why you go to Vegas, obviously.
Isn't that
and
like
Reno.
Texas also? I believe Texas doesn't have any casinos.
That I'm not sure.
Gambling is not allowed in Texas.
They don't
As
like
we
weed
said
either.
previously, never been to Texas.
I met a dude from Texas in Arizona, and I believe that's what he said. I'm checking my sources.
So, Ipe gets fired. All right. We find out he was involved in gambling upwards around $4.5 million. He was in debt.
Something like that.
Shohei Ohtani ended up covering that debt, and Ipe was fired by the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Definitely casinos in Texas. You just can't gamble on sports in Texas. All right, moving on. Sorry.
Now, before we really get into whether or not Shohei is involved and stuff like that, I just kind of want to get a litmus test. Because what's interesting for me, and as somebody that takes history of baseball into very much consideration, I like to pretend at least that I'm a student of the game. Not only do I know what's happened on the field, but I'm also aware of, as I said, the check marks, the big periods of baseball where you can say, okay, Mantle, Maris in 61, the 27 Yankees, Hank Aaron, these, McGuire Sosa, these kind of check marks of where baseball really hits things. I'm curious, when this story first broke, and we talked about it a little bit last week as it's evolved into this week, when this story broke, I actually didn't take a lot of investment into it. I actually didn't think it was that quite big of a deal.
Oh,
So my
buddy,
question to you guys
dove
is-
in deep.
Yeah, so my question to you guys is this a real story, or is this what happens when you become the level of Shohei Ohtani,
Bud,
where everything's under a microscope, where it's like, well, did you see that Taylor Swift kissed Travis Kelce? Like, is it that, or is this Shoeless Joe? Is this Pete Rose? Is this McGuire Sosa? Is this Bonds? Like, what kind of level are we at here?
well, classic sports radio line here. We'll see what happens. This is just the beginning. I mean, last week, literally, it was Wednesday that this got reported.
Yeah, we opened the show with it.
I was in this
Our
chair.
second to last Wednesday, because we're going to Tuesday next
I was
week.
in this chair last week saying, did you know that Ipe went to UC Riverside? Maury Popovich over here. Turns out that was a lie.
That was a lie.
Did you know that he worked for the Boston Red Sox as a interpreter for one of their former players?
Daisuke? Screwball?
Not Daisuke.
Remember the Screwball was going to take over the
Whoever it was, turns out that was a lie.
Yeah.
So what we've learned since last Wednesday is Ipe is just he's a fraudster. He's a liar because his whole entire resume is a lie. Nobody in the Angels organization over the last 5 to 6 years decided, maybe we should check up on any of this.
Totally. It's the I fill out a resume and nobody actually calls your references.
Literally. And listen, it's like basically they're just taking all these guys for face value and they're like, all right, cool, put that in the media guide. Yeah, he went to UC Riverside. He was an interpreter for the Red Sox, worked spring training for the Yankees. So it's turned out that he is just a straight up liar at any chance, any opportunity, and he took the opportunity of working for Ohtani and just rode that horse for as long as he could.
Mm-hmm.
The question remains, though, is he the fall guy?
Right, and that's
and
why
that's. I mean, I feel like Shohei right now to me is. What he has going for him is just being like, oh, well, I don't know anything. I'm just over here playing baseball, and he just took advantage of everything and lied to me and stole my money and don't look over here. So, like, there still is a lot to be investigated, clearly, because this is like, I mean, a crime in the state of California. Like, they have not only MLB investigators looking into all of this, but they
the
have
FBI.
like federal investigators looking into this.
And that's what I'm trying to ask. Like, is this a big story?
Yes.
Or is this an okay story?
I'm going to lean in and also say that this is still a big story. I have a hard time, even with the new information coming out that Joe basically just laid out, that you guys both laid out perfectly, that there's something else that's going to drop here, because we still haven't gotten the answer to that question. Well, why did you initially come out with a story plan saying, okay, hey, you know what, this is what's happening, we're just helping a guy out, and oh, no, he stole. I mean, there's tax implications going on in my head, maybe as to the reason why they lied, but there's got to be something else beyond that. When you see the news coming out, this is according to the LA Times today, Ohtani hired the same PR crisis firm as Alec Baldwin, Hillary Clinton, Harvey Weinstein, and that doesn't mean he's guilty.
But those were big stories.
Exactly. And frankly, somebody that says, oh, well, that means something is happening, I hate that. That's like saying, oh, well, innocent people shouldn't need to hire lawyers. No, you're dealing with the cops here. Ohtani's dealing with the media
and perception and et cetera.
And in a foreign country where he doesn't speak the language. You got to have help. But I do believe this is a huge story, and there is still something to drop.
Yeah, and that's what we'll get into next. Like, let's actually dive into this story. Like, let's see, where do we feel about Ohtani? What does baseball do from here on out? And how do we keep track on this? How can we possibly know what's right and what's wrong? We'll keep that going next. We'll do that. This is the Hot Corner. It is Portland Sports Leader, moving to Tuesdays next week. But first, my man Schultze with sports.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on The Fan, the Blazers getting hit with their 8th loss in a row tonight, this time at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks, 120-106 the final. DeJounte Murray leading the way for Atlanta with 28 points. Delano Banton going for 31. The Blazers currently have the 5th worst record in the league, just a game better than Charlotte. Of course, we got to watch those because, I don't know, Portland could possibly get a better chance at a higher pick in the draft if they somehow have a worse record than Charlotte. In the NFL, the Broncos signing wideout Josh Reynolds to a 2-year deal worth up to $14 million. Also, the Carolina Panthers signing linebacker Jadeveon Clowney for 2 years and up to $24 million. In baseball, the Dodgers spending even more cash, signing catcher Will Smith to a 10-year, $140 million contract extension. And the Portland Thorns signing forward Sophia Smith to a new deal through the 2025 season. It's going to make her the highest paid player in the NWSL. The deal also contains an option for 2026. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schulte at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, and tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
Do it every morning. Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on Portland Sports Leader. 1080 The Fan.
market to sign somewhere. What does this mean? Can I take a shot at Scott Boras, or is there a bigger problem going on in baseball? We'll get to that in 15 minutes. But I want to continue here with the Shohei situation. So Shohei Ohtani came out and spoke to the Dodgers, or for the Dodgers on Monday. And never get it twisted about no questions, no photography, no cameras. Never get that twisted. That usually says something. Now, I think I'm the guy here. I think I'm a guy that tends to... I think I'm giving Shohei the benefit of the doubt here. I think I am. And I think as stuff has come out about Ippei, about not working here, not going to school there, like the guy's clearly got a checkered past. But
he's just a liar, it sounds like.
But is that also not the best guy to set up for a fall guy?
Yeah, because he'll lie for you.
So let me test the room here. Do you think Shohei Ohtani gambled on sports?
Yes.
1,000%.
1,000% from Schultz, and you were an infinite yes.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of like, I don't know.
I think that athletes gamble a hell of a lot more than we think they do.
The Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan stories about Barcelona in 92.
That and just,
Pete Rose in the 70s and 80s.
Again, I don't know. It's tough because we've seen players get busted already.
Sure. Yep. The NFL is really cracking down on it.
Right. It's just a matter of, is there a way that you can figure out how to get around it in a sense like this, where you have someone doing it for you?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly say
the Calvin Ridley thing, like he got busted because he's an idiot and didn't have somebody else doing it for him.
This Jonte Porter guy for the Raptors, like, dear God, man, like, have some discretion.
Well, and a baseball player, even compared to a basketball player, how much time do they have throughout the season? We all love baseball, guys. We all have to watch the game that's literally most of the time not moving.
And
even with the rule changes with the clocks.
Also, and I don't know what the other league rules are about gambling on other sports. And, like, the MLB rules is like, dude, you can't work with an illegal bookmaker.
Now, that is a real thing.
You can't, the rules are basically, you can't gamble on baseball, you can't gamble on MLB and games that either affect you or don't affect you. You can't gamble on the sport that you're in. You can gamble on other sports, it just can't be with an illegal bookmaker.
And that's the question I want to ask. All right, let's take the illegal bookmaker out of this, okay? Let's say we find out that Shohei is, in fact, betting hundreds of thousands of dollars, gets in debt up to almost $5 million on international soccer, okay? Maybe he really liked Liverpool to beat Man City, but it ended up in a draw and he lost money. Do we have a problem with that?
No, I don't care. Like, do what you want. I really don't care.
As long as he's not betting on baseball, we don't care?
Correct.
Because I have said this in weeks past.
Quite frankly, I don't even care if he's betting on a game that he's not in. If he's betting on Reds Pirates on a day off, I don't care.
But that gets a little too close, and that's where it's funny that you don't care here, and this is where I'm the opposite. What always worries me about gambling with professional athletes is if you're not doing it on your sport, when does it eventually creep into your sport?
Well,
when do you get to the point where you're $5 million in debt and you're like, okay, I got to pay this off somehow? I just talked to my buddy, Seiya Suzuki in Chicago, and they're taking on the Phillies tonight, and he can't go, and he just told me Cody Bellinger can't go, so I'll put, $200K on the Phillies beating the Cubs tonight by 6.
Listen, I think
when do you get desperate?
I don't care, but I think it is a slippery slope if you were to bet on the same league and same teams that you are going up against. But, yeah, if he's betting on Napoli versus FC Milan or whatever the hell, I mean, if he's betting
AC Milan.
Thank you. You are a soccer guy. You are a Patrick soccer guy. Hey, all I care is about my.
You're lucky.
All I care about is my Reds. Okay. Let's go, Liverpool. But
We're not in Champions League, but nice job.
we're getting there though, right? Aren't they releasing
Should finish this year.
the pools here soon of who's going to be in what?
The pools of liver.
The group play. Aren't we figuring out who's in what groups?
No, we're in like semifinals
okay.
now.
Well, regardless, again, I'm
So the gambling doesn't bother you. Okay, so then
It bothers
what about
me.
So then okay, and I'll get to you in a second, Schultze.
right, yeah.
But Joe, to finish on this, the gambling doesn't bother you, then why is this a story?
because I think that gambling in sports is very polarizing in general right now. I was just talking to you in the break about how some people are bitching and moaning about the refs and how they find it funny that they've gotten this bad ever since gambling became legalized.
right.
Like I just I mean, you had Reese Davis the other day on ESPN talking about risk-free investments in game. I feel like it is just the entire conversation around is polar. So as soon as you have the biggest star in Major League Baseball in a quote-unquote scandal when it comes to gambling.
Oh, I don't think it's quote unquote.
Well, again, he's been bamboozled, hoodwinked here, as Ja Rule said.
Fraud, according to the FBI.
So, again, but when it comes down to it, it's like, dude, I don't care if he's betting on international soccer matches, and if he did it again, he should know better that illegal sports bookmakers in California, like if he knows it's illegal, yeah, dude, you effed up.
And let's be real, illegal bookmaking is where you can roll the high dollars. Schultze, you have a problem with this gambling.
Yeah, just because of the implications. I mean, I hear you on the slipping into your current sport. That's the perfect example, I think, of maybe Pete Rose probably didn't start betting on his team every night. It got to that point because he had such a problem. But the connections, especially like you bring up international soccer, Shohei's an international guy. Do you not spend time around these guys and gals? Like, you are in a fraternity of elite athletes.
He
Usually,
shoots a text to Mo Salah, say, hey, maybe if
Take a dive.
your back
Yeah.
spasms there in the beginning of the game there.
oh yeah, you know Shohei's got Ronaldo on speed dial. I mean, seriously, that's kind of stupid to actually say, but when you think of the actual implication of that possibly, knowing somebody competing in another league that you're placing money on, like I just feel like as a player, you should be completely disallowed from anything. Why? Why can you not be allowed to wait with the privilege of making hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least tens of millions in a lot of players' situations, until you are done, and then give away any sense of impropriety at that point, and then say, you know what, I'm done with this now. That was my pro life. I'm going to go have fun in my afterlife.
503-864-6326. That is the Vancouver Ford text line. I love this because it makes me really think, well, I care if he bet on Reds Pirates. Again, he has nothing to gain on throwing anything in his games in modern sports financing. He's wealthy. But I would counter that, even though I agree with that, I would counter that with neither did Michael or Charles in 92 in Barcelona. And there are rumors that they both lost $750,000. Like, equate that to inflation, and that's, $2 to $3 million. Now, yeah, you might not be betting on anything that you have to do with. You want to keep yourself intact. But when does that degenerate, for lack of a better term, seep into you and create a bigger problem?
That's just saying that can be a slippery slope. Like
That's
betting
my
on
biggest
the
issue.
teams and like
Mine's the slippery slope.
and again, like deep down, it's like some of these guys. Listen, gambling is. I don't sports gamble. I don't put my money.
It's crazy. I got into it big on Saturday. I was up with my buddy at A&A, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is great. And I threw away money.
I love the idea of it. I love, being able to guess if a team can cover over, unders, all that. It's
Just
fun
like
to
I like
talk
being able
about.
to throw dollars at the rail to see some, yayas.
Hell yeah.
And if you have the funds to make that happen, and you got a big enough unit, then lay it down, right? Like, go ahead. I don't really care what you want to do with your money, and I understand it diving into your league. If there is that gray area, like even as Schultze said, like maybe not texting a Ronaldo, but like you text a pitcher, you have a guy on one of these teams, but that's where I just feel like the ins and outs of all that, like. So what? You're just gonna hand this guy a bag of cash or a briefcase the next time you see it? Like, it seems a lot more like a process than it really like.
Sure.
The payoff is on that, and especially again for a guy like Shohei. Like, yeah, if you have a Jonte Porter who is over under on points and rebounds are like 5 and 2 rebounds, and this guy's like, I am making S in this league on a minimum contract. Yeah, I'll take a 40,000 parlay on myself. Well, you're an idiot and you don't make that much, and you deserve everything you have. You have a damn Discord chat with other people saying, dude, take my under on my rebounds tonight. I'm getting a random eye injury in the first quarter. Like, yeah, that's you're dumb, all right? But this, again, the only aspect of it is like California, you can't gamble on sports, illegal
That's where
sports
he broke
book.
the law.
That's where you effed up, all right? That is that, like, and to me, it's just like, you're an idiot for that. But if you want to gamble on sports, like, figure out a way. Go to a state where you can do that. You shouldn't have gone to the Dodgers. You shouldn't have gone to Anaheim Angels.
Mariners, baby.
Eh?
All right, we'll put this to bed for a little bit, and we'll see as more information keeps coming out. When we come back, I want to touch on Jordan Montgomery signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks, Blake Snell with the Giants, all Scott Boras clients. Is this a problem with Scott Boras, or is this just baseball catching up to the trends that's going on? That's next. Hot Corner, 10 of the Fan. Finish our division previews as we always land on the American League West to see how that takes over. Just another friendly reminder, we'll be on Tuesdays starting next week from 7 to 9. Picture me rolling.
Boy, there are some things about the AL West that you just are going to have to wait for hour 2 for. I mean, just
You ready?
insane. Just insane.
You gonna say some crazy stuff, dude?
I got a fun game for you when it comes to athletics, too.
Oh, excellent. I'll love that. But before we dive into that, Jordan Montgomery, the last domino to fall in the free agent sweepstakes over this offseason. He signs a 1-year, $25 million deal with the Diamondbacks. And this opens a larger discussion. Now, first of all, Diamondbacks rotation looks fantastic, in my opinion. Montgomery, Gallen, Pfaadt, Rodriguez, like that's a solid 4. I don't think they're as good as, say, the Mariners. I don't think they're as good as, say, maybe some other teams out there, but that is a super solid starting rotation.
Certainly is,
Top
Bob.
tier.
Somewhat already starting to regret having them finish 3rd in the NL West.
Yeah, right. It instantly kind of makes you go,
Oops.
oh, you got Dylan Cease in San Diego? Cool. Hold my beer. So that we can talk a little bit about what this does for Arizona, but what I'm curious about is this is another Scott Boras client that fails to get the deal they wanted. Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell, Matt Chapman. Funny enough, 2 of those guys ended up signing with the same team. Cody Bellinger. A lot of guys looking for big money, big year deals. And let me ask you this, Joe. Is this more of an indictment on Boras wanting too much money for these players, or is this more of a revelation of Major League Baseball kind of taking a cue from the NFL in an extent of running backs are a little bit of a dime a dozen, and we can find a young guy and blow his knees out, or in this case, blow his arms out, and then go find somebody new? I heard on Danny and Dusty today, they were talking about, are wide receivers potentially the new running back? That every draft class is going to have high-octane, high-caliber young receivers that you grab for 4 years and try to win in that window, and then let them go because I'll go grab somebody else. Look at the Steelers, for example. Do you think Arms and guys like Chapman and Bellinger are in the same, or do you think this is Boras reaching for too much?
I would choose the latter out of those 2. I think it's the MLB basically saying, like, screw you, Scott Boras. We know what you're trying to do here because we know how much you get paid in all of this as well.
Paging Alex Rodriguez.
So these are, I have a list of the top 10 free agents of this offseason, but of 10 of those, 5 of them are Scott Boras clients, but here are the contracts. Blake Snell, 2 years, $62 million.
With an opt-out after year 1.
Cody Bellinger, 3 years, $80 million.
Opt-out after year 1.
Jordan Montgomery, 1 year, $25 million. Matt Chapman, 3 years, $54 million.
Opt-out after 1 year.
And then Jung Ho Lee, 6 years, $113 million.
It's funny that Scott Boras has Jung Ho Lee, you know.
But yeah, I think this was very much a mutiny between the GMs, the owners, and the front office. Hopefully not sending each other text messages.
Not
and
collusion, but basically saying, we don't want to deal with
but
you,
dear
man.
God, it kind of like seems like in the winter meetings, they're all just kind of like,
Look, we don't want Cano. We don't want Pujols. We don't want to do this again.
It was kind of one of those, like, in the PGA, you can't ask fellow players what club they chose to hit a ball. Like, hey, what club did you use?
Did you use
there?
a 6?
Was that-
Or do you mean
yeah.
like a brand?
But they'll go over there and they'll peek over at their bag as they're putting the club away, you know? So I feel like this is, it's one of those just kind of like Say if you were to sign Jordan Montgomery, complete hypothetical
If
here.
you were to be in the trees on a 15, Bubba Watson, in Augusta, what club do you think you would use? If you could take back in that situation,
If you were playing MLB The Show and Matt Chapman was a free agent,
what do you think you would
what would
sign
you
him
give
for?
him?
See, I think it's interesting because I'm actually starting to lean a little more on the side of baseball starting to not want to pay those guys for those kind of contracts.
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I would say give us a couple more years to see what happens.
Yeah, let it flesh out a little bit.
Yeah, because, I mean, you look at the rest of the contracts this year that were not the top 10 that were not Boris clients. Obviously, like Shohei, Yamamoto, those are kind of outliers.
Those are other side. But Tyler Glass now, he got himself a bag. Will
Aaron-
Smith got a bag today.
Aaron Nola, 7 years, 172 mil.
He got a good bag.
Sonny Gray, which 3 years, 75. I feel like.
But at his
He's a
stage
little
in his
older.
career,
Yeah,
though, I think
36.
that was a good bag to get.
Josh Hader, 5 years, 95
Insane
mil.
bag for a closer.
Yeah, but also I think the Astros were like, dude, please.
Yeah,
They need that.
What do you want?
Well, I think they see the rest of the American League catching up to him.
Remember, what was it, like 2018 or 2019 when Mike Trout signed his extension with the Angels?
Yeah, it's 440.
Yeah, and that was mid to late 20s. It signs him through age 39. Very similar.
Harper wasn't far behind.
Exactly, and very similar to a Trey Turner to a Julio Rodriguez type
Yep.
deal that he
Yep.
got. Now we're seeing Bobby Witt Jr. We saw, unfortunately, Wander Franco get the deal like that from the Rays.
But
And
Bobby Witt, Bregman kind of started it, Acuna and Albies.
absolutely. And
Tatis.
just that shift, I do think that, as you said, players are getting cash, even in
Mm-hmm.
their 30s, but they're not getting as much. And we're never going to see a guy north of 30 getting a 10-year contract ever again in baseball.
So I'm just going to name a couple of his clients that basically it's kind of on the clock. I mean, yes, Bryce Harper just signed his deal with the Philadelphia Phillies a couple years ago, but he's at 26 mil per year. If you don't think that he's going to be asking for some more money here in the next year or two, like
He signed the deal.
I get it, but also Machado signed his deal, and they essentially ripped that up and did it new with.
But
new
that's
one with
because
him a
he
couple
was
years.
okay with it, though.
Well, I think that Bryce Harper will be okay with doing that as well.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Juan Soto.
Yeah, that'll be the interesting thing. I think that is a great point, Joe.
I mean, Corey Seager, he just got his bag, so that's kind
but
of
I
off the
think
table
Juan
for a
Soto
while.
is a fantastic litmus test for this.
Jose Altuve.
What does Juan Soto get next year?
And Altuve, he just did his deal.
Altuve was more of a legacy
he's
pay, I
done.
feel like.
Yeah.
The Astros won it. That was like
That's bobblehead night.
That was the Blazers giving Brandon Roy a massive deal. They were paying for the production he already gave.
Yeah, that's bobblehead night.
Yeah.
But I think, Joe, you bring up an amazing point. Soto. What is Soto going to do? And what Soto does, I think, will tell us a lot. Is this agent or is this I don't want to pay for old players that we've learned from mistakes? All right. We got a lot to get to in the final hour. We're up fair or foul at the bottom of the 8:30 hour. But also, let's get into the vaunted American League West. I'm joking. It's not that vaunted. But is the division open? Is it open? I think there's 3 teams in this. We'll see how it goes. That's next. Hot Corner, 1080 The Fan.
In this market.
Podcast at 1080thefan.com or the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. Friendly reminder, next week we'll be back with you, but on Tuesdays.
You and I both with a beer belch there.
This will be the last Wednesday of this historic show. One might argue the greatest show to ever grace the Entercom, now Odyssey, 1080 The Fan airwaves. Wednesdays have just been so wonderful to us that we'd like to take over Tuesdays as well.
I'll add a qualifier in there. Best baseball show.
We are the number one rated baseball show in the Portland metropolitan area. I could say that with a fact. That is the truth.
Damn right.
I'm not lying
Dano.
to you. This is not fake news. We are the number one baseball show in the Portland metropolitan area. Now, we are also the least rated show in the Portland metropolitan area, but that's not important.
Nielsen
We're
doesn't
number
know.
one.
Nielsen
We're number one.
doesn't know what they're doing. All right. That was actually, never mind. I'm going to share too many details, but just Nielsen, get it together.
You can't have two number ones. That would be 11. All right, we got Fair or Foul coming up at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. As we've been doing, we will dive into our last division to preview as the baseball season starts tomorrow. We leave it with the American League West. Now, when Voldemort was here, we always did it because there's a lot of you out there that are Mariner fans. So we wanted to kind of tease you and save the best for last. Now we got me and Schultze here, our Mariner fans, although I think I'm a Mariner observer compared to Schultze's.
Well, definitely not saving the last.
His investment.
Definitely not saving the best for last because as far as I know, the AL West didn't have every single team finish above 500 last year.
You're gonna bank on the Red Sox.
Oh,
are we
not
doing this
year.
again?
Not this year.
Okay, I was like, are we doing this again?
I'm just saying last
Do I need to tell you that the Red
year-
Sox still suck despite being over 500? If we got to do this again, I'll do this again. All right? Come at me, bro.
You'll get angry texts.
Hey, Alex Cora, guys. They got a young. Who the hell do they have?
LeBron James. All right, Joe, you've got some Oakland Athletic things you would like to talk because there's a lot going on in this division.
Oh, I mean,
but let's be quick, let's be clear, real quick, right? The Angels, okay, pass.
except
A's.
for Ron Washington.
Yeah, I am excited to see Ron Washington see
Good
the
for him.
resurgence. I feel like
Good for him.
5 years or less, he could win like a Manager of the Year award, but probably not this year.
I like him as a third base coach, and he's great at the club. Joe, you wanted to talk to me about the Oakland A's.
Oh yeah, I wanted to play a game with you.
I love games.
Do you know this player? Like, just tell me straight up. Schultze partake also. Like,
This is excellent. I'm on baseball.
just like, yes, I know him, whether it be fantasy purposes or I watched Oakland A's. I'm sorry if you did, but just,
I am on roster resource, but I do not have the Oakland A's page up.
see, I got it right in front of you. I'm going just 1 through 9, what they got here, projected starting lineup versus right-handed pitchers. Ryan Noda.
Nope.
But, like, do I know him?
Ryan Noda.
Didn't he make the All-Star team for them last year?
I don't know.
Noda.
Noda.
Not going to work here anymore.
Someone's got to. At least one dude on the A's has to make the All-Star
Yeah, I
team.
think it was Noda.
Zach Geloff.
Ooh, you had me in the beginning until you said Loff. Nope.
the first name.
I was like, Zach Gallons on
Yeah.
the Oakland A's?
Zach. There we go. Ryan. JJ Bleday.
Nope.
Just from opening sports cards, I know that is a younger player that the A's probably aren't paying anything to.
Brent Rooker.
I remember him.
Yeah, I'm cool with that name.
That was the one I knew because he hit some dongs for him last year.
Yep. Prospect that was supposed to be great. We'll see. He'll probably have 35 and get traded at the deadline.
Seth Brown.
Nope.
Most generic name on this roster.
I just think it's Seth Smith, former A and Mariner, so no.
There's probably been like 8 Seth Browns in the history of MLB. JD Davis.
Yes.
No.
J.D. Davis recently released by the San Francisco Giants. J.D. Davis is a third baseman. Actually, a really solid player. It was shocking. Everybody was really mad that he got released by the Giants. The only reason he did was because they signed Matt Chapman. And people were like, well, J.D. Davis is better than Matt Chapman.
Dude, Patrick just laying his big baseball nuts right on this table.
Let's go.
How about that? Shea Langoliers.
I know that name from sports cards.
Sports cards.
Younger name in the last 5 years or so.
Rippin' Packs.
Exactly.
Lawrence Butler.
I thought Rippin' Pax was the next guy's name. With how people name kids
That
these days.
would be
I was like Rippin'
badass.
Pax, like Mark Rippin, but
Yeah.
P-A-X.
R-I-P-P-E-N and then P-A-X. is the
P-A-X.
last name.
I was like Rippin' Pax. I mean, I hope he throws heaters.
Hell yeah.
He
The answer
sucks.
is no, though. To
He
get back to
absolutely
you.
sucks.
No to the next guy.
Lawrence Butler
No.
No, I don't think so.
and Nick Allen.
Uh-uh.
That is your 1 through 9 projected starting lineup
Ooh,
versus right-handed
give me
pitchers.
the 1 through 5 rotation. You can do it quick.
Alex Wood, yes.
Yes.
Ross Stripling,
Yes.
yes. J.P. Sears.
Yes. Only because of fantasy baseball. Only because of prospect.
Paul Blackburn.
Yes.
Ooh, I'm a no. You're a yes.
Because-
Yeah, he's been a journeyman for like 10 years in MLB.
And
He's
where
played
did-
for the A's before, too, right?
And where else has he played?
He was not a Mariner.
It says traded Seattle.
Busted.
November
I
2016.
forgot that Paul
Fan
Blackburn was a
card
Mariner.
revoked,
Damn
Schultze.
it. 2016. I mean, this was probably before he even was recording service time. And Joe Boyle.
Nope.
Yep, there you go.
What do you got? A's win totals over there?
I like the game of having you guys
Oh,
guess.
right.
Because I do have it, yes.
Huh.
Numbers.
62.
62.
That's 100 losses even.
100 losses, right? Yeah, that's math.
Ooh.
You
I
laying
think-
your big baseball nuts and your big math nuts on the
Ooh,
table.
I think my number starts with a 5.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
But it's going to be a high 5 because Vegas does want you to throw some coin on it. I'll go 58 and a half.
Damn,
Give me the
Patrick.
hook. Give me the hook.
58 and a half.
Boom, baby.
Wow.
I'm going over on that, by the way.
home run stroker.
I don't know why, but I'm going over because I believe I said the Nationals are going to be the worst team in the MLB this
You
year.
keep
so-
saying that to me, and I'm like, you're out of your mind, Joe.
Hey, I'm sticking to it. I want that Sando or
Well,
beer, whatever we
I
ended
just
up
think
betting.
if J.P. Sears has a great year, if Ross Stripling somehow isn't dead by the All-Star game, these guys are getting traded. Like August and September
Wow.
is going to be where that Blazer under money is made. Like Shaden Sharp's coming back? No, sit him. Do not do that. You're messing with my under.
58 and a half. Do we take a break or do we just glance right over the Angels?
No, I think we come back and do this a 4-team race.
Okay.
But we try to keep it within standards.
14
all right?
race. That's cute.
The A's. All right. Coming back, there's the final 4 teams. That's the Angels, the Mariners, the Rangers, and the Asterisks. Who's going to win the American League West? How does this division look? We'll do all that next. The Hot Corner, 1080 The Fan. So it'll be the bottom of every Tuesday, 8 o'clock hour. We're going through the American League West, and we'll try to keep this quick because I do want to give a little extra time for some stuff. But guys, the Angels, I want to see a healthy year from Trout.
Yes, I think we all do. Just
I think
as
we all
baseball
want to
fans,
see.
that's what you want to see.
When Trout is fully healthy and playing at the top of the game, to this day, take Shohei's 2-time out of the way where he can pitch and hit. If Shohei's just a hitter, I still think a fully healthy Mike Trout at full capability is the best player in baseball. And I've been saying it for 10 years, and I'm so happy to say it again. I'm also excited to see an adult in the building, okay? Ron Washington is very different than that garbage they trotted out last year from a management staff.
Yeah.
Let's get in fights, F you. It felt very MAGA.
Phil Nevin is a piece of S.
It felt very, alt-right.
Well, they do wear red hats.
Like they hate us because they ain't us. It felt very
just one A, not two A's on
it felt very hold me back, bro.
What one of the more intriguing storylines of this team to me is just watching Anthony Rendon.
Yes, exactly. How many over under Anthony Rendon 55 games?
Oh God, I was gonna put it at 100 because he's actually healthy, but
Ron Washington wants
to
bat him leadoff.
Oh, I know.
Of course he does.
55. I'll go over.
No, I'll go under. Yeah, he's got the skill set to bat leadoff. I get why he wants to put him there.
Hey, you guys ready for this? Push.
55.
Exactly on the money.
55 and a half. He'll get pulled in the fifth.
I know.
That's a good
They
one.
got that Mickey Moniak guy who had 8 RBIs in one game or something like that.
I think it'll be interesting. Logan O'Hoppe, he's the number one prospect. They didn't let him go. They wanted to hold on to him. Brandon Drury was a decently touted prospect. I'd like to see how he goes. But the reality is Mike Trout, and how can he do?
Okay.
That staff's not great.
We done with these guys?
We're done with these guys.
All right.
Moving on.
Let's get back to the top three. The big question is, guys, can Texas go back to the World Series?
Yes.
Absolutely.
You think so?
I mean, they did.
I say yes, but
No,
immediately.
but that was initial reaction. Your initial reaction was yes.
Can they go back? Yes. There hasn't been a repeat champion since the Yankees of 99,
2000.
99, 2000, yeah. So, I mean, that's where it's just can they go back?
Technically 98, 99, 2000, but I know what you meant.
Those bastards.
Hey, they went 0-1 too, then they lost.
But
that's good they can go back.
Going back, I just feel like the parity in how October plays itself out. This Rangers team is good. The bullpen sucked last year. They caught fire at the right time.
They added Dave Robertson
in
the offseason. He's a good arm. And Leclerc, came into himself over the postseason.
That's what
Although
I'm
he's got a
saying.
little bit high of a walk ratio, and his ERA is not great either.
And really, it's
Ringing endorsement for a closer there. You see what I did there?
And really, it's they lost Montgomery. Yeah, they lost Garver to your Mariners.
Hey.
But when you look at it, it's dude, if they can get their arms healthy in the back half of the season, this starting pitching, fingers crossed, knock on wood, knock on foam marble table in here. I mean, you get those guys back, they could be dangerous going into an August, September, October, November.
I think what Bochy's really going to rely on
And
early
their
on
1
in the
through
year-
7, 1 through 8 lineup, batting wise, is one of the best in baseball.
Yeah, Bochy's going to rely, I think, really heavily on a full year from Evan Carter, who we saw what he did. His playoff performance was great. That kid is clearly a future stud.
Still getting PTSD.
Wyatt Langford is going to make the opening day roster. They are not going to service time manipulate him. He's coming up. That's a big deal as well.
Yep.
Okay? And then also, let's not forget DeGrom and Scherzer.
That's what I'm saying.
DeGrom and Scherzer. Now, DeGrom's got Tommy John, so we'll see. But
they're saying back half of the season.
Half of the season, Scherzer's supposed to come around June. I'm watching him in fantasy leagues. I'm going to take a flyer on him if I can snag him. I just don't want to waste the IL spot. But if you can get 75% DeGrom and 75% Scherzer, and then Eovaldi is number 3, I think you're in a decent spot. The real question is what are you going to get from DeGrom and Scherzer? Because outside of that, losing Montgomery is a big blow. That staff's not great. That staff looks like the Red Sox 3 years ago. and they weren't very good.
Well, and say what you want about him, but even Martin Perez, that dude was just innings eater and was able to get dudes out. Not
Right.
strikeouts, but just get dudes out. So, I mean, you don't have him anymore either.
Exactly.
And he was on that team for years.
So we'll see. I think this team is the biggest, in my opinion, the biggest question mark of the entire division.
But you still got Mike Maddox.
Still got Mike Maddox as
Yeah,
a
let me
pitching
some
coach.
Maddox.
And you got-
P1 of Hot Corner, Mike Maddox.
And you got Bruce Bochy, who has 4 World Series titles, 2 in different leagues, and one in his last one, he sat out for 5-6 years.
Well, and if Mike Maddox, I mean, the guy that's been in the league 20
Friend of the
years.
show, Mike Maddox.
Absolutely. I love me that stash. If he can take like 2 of their triple, they've actually got some young, pretty powerful arms in their system. They're not very highly ranked, but hey, Mike Maddox takes him, adds some control a little bit. I would not be surprised if they're back. It's starting to look like the rest of MLB has taken the whole Mariners bullpen plan and just tried to pick and choose guys from their system, and hopefully Texas can do that.
Before we jump to the other 2 teams in the division, do you have an Angels over or under win total real quickly, both of you?
76 and a half.
75 and a half.
72 and a half.
Okay.
And now can you give me a Rangers over under win
Ooh,
total?
Rangers, gosh, it's so difficult. Now, they don't play 19 times a year anymore in division. It's now only 13. So you're not going to beat each other up as much. The American League Central is garbage.
But damn,
the
at the end,
bottom of the AL East is garbage.
at the end of the year, it always gets very, very hairy.
Texas, give me 82.
No, I'm going
81.
I'm
Give
going
me 81.
I'm going 86 and a half.
I was going to say, you realize that's like 500, right?
I know.
That's just scraping into the playoffs, possibly.
I know.
That's
I know what
not,
I'm doing here.
That's not 54%.
That is not 54%. 88 and a half.
88 and a half.
Yes.
I'm curious. With this team at 88 and a half, I'm curious what the other 2 are. And that poses me to this question. Guys, is this division Houston, Seattle? Or is this division still Houston, Seattle, Texas?
I believe it's just Houston.
Fair point.
I think
But
it's
I
Houston,
guess
Texas,
what I'm
Seattle.
asking is Texas went on a run. And I think Texas very much deserved to win the World Series last year. They were the best team that I saw in the American League in the playoffs. And when you get to the World Series, all bets are off. And they were better than Arizona. I don't want to take away from Texas. I think they were a deserved World Series champion last year. But I'm not super high on them this year. So my question is this a 3-team race or is it a 2-team race?
I just think it's a 3-team race. And frankly, I think the Rangers, I love my Mariners, but I am so scared. Like, the Mariners are leaning on like 7 ifs this year. So I think the Texas Rangers could be better than the Mariners.
And Joe, you think it's a 1-team race?
Because I feel that the Astros, it is year after year after year with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then them adding Josh Hader, it's like
We counted them out 2 years ago and they won a World Series.
death by 1,000 cuts is
Yep.
what we've been saying for the last few years too. And you add
Feels like a
Hader,
decade at this point.
you add Hader to the team too. It's just almost like, oh, of course, this.
The
damn
Astros
team.
bullpen might be the best bullpen in baseball. Ryan Presley is a top 5 closer in baseball, and he's now your setup man.
The only
And Abreu
thing,
is the best setup man in baseball, and now he's your 7th inning guy.
the only thing that, and I'm not even going to say it's a concern, is just to keep an eye on is the back half of the starting rotation and what it does.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of seems like it's just like next man up for them
Right.
all the time when it comes to pitching.
I think the biggest thing for me, and
Like the Ronel Blanco kid, he just went and had 10 strikeouts the other day in his spring training game.
and then flip to the offensive side, and Jeremy Pena can't be as bad as he was last year.
But do you think this is like plug and play for Joe Espada as a new manager? Because remember, Dusty's done. I mean,
I
Joe
do think so. I
Okay.
think Dusty is the guy that rights the ship after the controversy, and now there's only 2 or 3 guys from that time. Framber Valdez isn't one of them. Yordan Alvarez isn't one of them. Kyle Tucker's not one of them. It's just Altuve, Verlander, and Bregman. And everybody else is kind of not a part of that. I think Dusty's big thing was let's get away from the noise and let's get back to baseball. And now everybody else coming in is just baseball guys. So I think that benefits. But I'll slide over to this and open it up into the Mariner conversation of the Mariners from an offensive standpoint, which is widely known as the problem they had last year. They weren't too far off Houston. They really weren't. That was a big, really close battle at the end of the year. I can't believe the Mariners offense from their quote-unquote veterans, yes, I'm counting Julio in that veteran conversation. I don't think the offensive production can be as dire as it was last year.
No,
Julio's going to have a better year. Ty France going to. Can J.P. Crawford recreate? That's a big question.
well, it's, with Julio,
That's a big question.
You just want to see it consistent throughout the year and not just this mad push after the All-Star
Right.
game.
And Polanco's been raking in spring training.
And this is why I say is like their offense to me, like we'll see what Teoscar does with the Dodgers, but to me, this roster offensively has improved. Polanco upgrade over Caballero or whoever they're throwing at it.
And I would argue that Polanco's an upgrade over Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah, and then you also like
And if Ty France isn't as bad as he was last year, that's an upgrade over Jared Kelnick.
And whether you have Cal or Garver behind the plate and or playing DH, like
That's 2 bats, thank God.
that's great right there. Mitch Haniger,
He's in midseason form right now, actually.
We'll see Haniger. I like him being humbled a little bit right now. Fangraphs has him at 6th in the lineup.
but
Ty
his
France
best,
at 8.
but Mitch Haniger, his best years were as a Mariner.
Right.
And he's back as a Mariner. So whether it's the Safeco field that's going to give him that confidence and just kind of being back to his normal self, but I like this offense way more than
And
last
keep
year's.
this in mind. Even with Wu going down the other day, sounds like tests are clean. He should be fine. That always screams Tommy John to me. But tests are clean. This is the best staff in baseball. This is the best starting rotation. 1 through 3, nobody has 1 through 3. That includes the Dodgers. Nobody has 1 through 3 like this staff, and that's going to keep you in games. I think the biggest thing about this team boils down to Scott Service.
Actually using his players correctly in
Yes.
some points and pushing the envelope maybe more than needed
Managing
last year.
games. Is Julio going to steal 45 bases this year? He better.
No kidding. No, he better be a 40-40 player. You
Put
better
a glove on both hands. He
Yeah.
better steal 45.
No, and the Mariners starting rotation, I feel like 1 through 6 or 7 is best in the major leagues. It comes down to this, y'all. Even with all the strikeouts and their veterans last year, they gave too many damn at bats to Tommy La Stella and Colton Wong and AJ Pollock. You take those 3, it was like 500 or 600 plate appearances, equaled basically 1 full-time player. If that performance is any better, they would make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean 1 through 6 right now, according to Fangraphs. You got Crawford, Rodriguez, Polanco, Garver, Cal Raleigh, Mitch Haniger. And then you got Canzone at 7th. I mean, he was a nice little addition towards the end of the year. I mean,
Hey, don't forget Ty France batted cleanup for 2 years straight.
And they got him at
when they made the
8th.
playoffs. Ty France batted
we're
cleanup. and they
doing
got
this
him at 8.
again. We're doing it
I know.
again.
We're doing it again. We're doing it again. I know. And I actually don't think it's because Schultze and I are Mariner fans. I don't think it's because we're here in the
No,
Pacific Northwest. I think it's this team is like fascinating from a F, Marry, Kill standpoint.
And we didn't
Like-
even mention Luke Raley.
As a baseball fan, you're just like, I can't quit this team that hurts me. And then I quit them, and they put on a new dress and they look like a smoke show.
Well, if anything, that looking at just the fan graphs is that bullpen. That's the one thing where, and I don't know when Matt Brash is supposed to get back. I haven't seen anything recently.
End of April, mid to end of April.
Yeah, and it could be bad when he does get back.
So
Yeah, Vargas too.
That's the one kind of question mark I have with this team is how does the bullpen hold up?
Yeah, and I believe in this system. I do believe they have found diamonds in the rough and made the bullpen work. And I do think they'll do this. I don't love Munoz as a closer. That's why Sewald was so great last year, in my opinion. But we'll see how Munoz does. That's TBD. I do think this team, Dipoto loves those trades. He loves bullpen trades at the deadline. And this bullpen will get better, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's wrap this up. Who do we think wins this division?
I'm going Astros.
The Astros.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those like you got to see it to believe it, the kind of things with this division.
Astros, Rangers, Mariners, Angels.
You have this
Oakland.
smirk on your face over
Put
here.
it down. I'm taking the M's. I just
Oh
love
my
the
God.
rotation.
I love you.
I just love the starting rotation.
The 1 through
Kirby, Gilbert both take steps, and Castillo is an all-star, potentially the game starter.
Kirby's going to be the Cy Young this year.
Kirby could win the Cy Young, and I could see Castillo starting the All-Star game and Kirby winning the Cy Young with a second half surge. I think pitching matters so much in this league, and the last time I can't believe I'm going to say this. The last time I saw a 1, 2, 3 of these like this, all three of those dudes are in the Hall of Fame.
I will say Castillo right now, according to most books, has anywhere between the 3rd to 4th best odds at winning
Maddox, Glavine,
the
Smoltz.
Cy Young. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, counting numbers. Kirby somewhere into that 6 to 8 range.
And last year he was like number 2 post All-Star break.
Ew, they have Kevin Gausman with like the best odds.
See, that's disgusting. I also put a
Stop.
future bets on the Yankees
Ew.
for winning less than 91.5 games. I will take the Mariners. Joe, you want to do over-under win total real quick, and let's get out of here.
Oh yeah, got you. Astros 93.5, Mariners 87.5. So they have the Mariners,
I think those are both fair.
They have the Mariners one game below the Rangers, and then Astros.
I'd take the Mariners over.
I would feel confident in that too.
Yeah, I'll go over.
I
with
like
you.
over on the Mariners. God, I like the push on the Astros there. Not that you can push on a half game, but
Oh my
93,
God.
94 sounds about right for me for the Astros.
87 divided by 162. Do you want to guess what the percentage is?
54.
53.7.
I love it.
Yep, it's close.
Oh my God.
All right, that's it. That's how we do it. We break down every single division every single time as we lead up to the season. Opening day tomorrow, and that means one last fair or foul before opening day. We'll do that next, but there's Schultze with sports.
Now, from the Fan Sports Desk, a Sports Center update on 1080 The Fan.
First on the Fan, the Blazers getting hit with their 8th loss in a row tonight, this time at the hands of the Atlanta Hawks, 120 to 106. The final, DeJounte Murray leading the way for Atlanta with 28 points. Delano Benson going for 31 for Portland off the bench. Blazers off now for the next couple of days before facing Miami on Friday. In the NFL, the Denver Broncos signing wideout Josh Reynolds to a 2-year contract worth up to $14 million. Also, the Carolina Panthers signing linebacker Jadeveon Clowney for 2 years and up to $24 million. And in baseball, the Los Angeles Dodgers spending even more cash. They're signing catcher Will Smith to a 10-year, $140 million contract extension. More sports scores and stories in 30 minutes. I'm Schultze at the 1080 The Fan Sports Desk. Listen live or on demand on the Odyssey app, the Fan's desktop player, or tell your smart speaker to play 1080 The Fan.
This is your home for year-round NFL coverage. The Odyssey app and 1080 The Fan.
Hey, it's Souk, and let me tell you, there's a huge difference between having just a backyard and a true outdoor living space. After Vulcan Design and Construction finished with the project in my house, I can tell you it's worth it
Do it on Tuesday night at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Without further ado, I turn it over to our fantastic producer, Schultz C.
Thank you, guys. All right, 3 fair or fouls. I think they're pretty tasty going into opening day. Of course, we got to start with Shohei Ohtani, the unbelievable gambling scandal that has unfolded before our eyes in the past week. The latest, of course, being that Shohei says his now former translator, Ippei Mizuhara, has stolen $4.5+ million
It's
from him.
all a big misunderstanding.
Pay
like
no
I've said.
attention to the man behind the curtain.
This is all stolen money, dang it. He did nothing wrong, he being Shohei Ohtani.
I think it was Diddy.
Yeah, actually, gosh.
Boy, that's a scary situation.
My God.
Yeah, if
He's
you've been-
going down.
Let's just say that Football Sunday may or may not have had an open with a Diddy song as the background music.
Not now.
And let's just say, no, that doesn't really get you ready for football.
No.
But let's just say that Football Sunday ended perfectly at a time before all that stuff happened.
Yeah, looking like a bad year for old Diddy. We don't know if it's a bad year for Shohei or not. Too early to call. So fair or foul, you guys, there's still more to this Shohei Ohtani betting scandal than has made public. So let me ask you that. Fair or foul, there is more to this than has been made public.
You know, as we talked about in the first hour of the show, I am leaning towards Shohei on this. You know, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but this has got to be a fair. There's got to be so much more to this. There's got to be, and by so much more, I wouldn't be shocked if Ippei was in trouble a lot sooner than we know, and Shohei knew more than he's leading on. Now, I'm not ready to say that Shohei was the gambler. I'm open to it. You can't really shock me. But I think there's more to this story. I think everything comes out like we eat together, we carpool together, we fly together.
We sleep together.
That's the scandal I expected to come out, was that
Who doesn't
Shohei
like a good rubby action?
that Shohei and Ippei were partners. Like, that's what I expected to come out. So when you eat, sleep, and breathe with the same person, like they got to Korea and there's Shohei with his wife, but then there's Ippei with his partner, to be that involved with somebody, whether they're a friend or a partner or not, business, whatever, I think there's more to Shohei's side than we know. Whether he's a gambler or not, that I'm not sure. I think there's more to his side, so I'll say fair.
Well, I know what Ippei was saying.
I am so excited to slurp up my favorite pitcher in
Tom
baseball.
Glavine?
I love Tommy Glavine's junk.
Truth. It's in the bread work.
There,
His junk was amazing.
fair,
Jamie Moyer.
There is definitely more to this, because I just find it fishy how as soon as they approached Shohei about this, it was a lot of, we'll get back to you on that. Lawyer, publicist, blah, 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 make a statement. Gosh,
I'm really leaning on the V.
I am leaning on the V, and that is for victory for Shohei, and that he is just adjudicated in all this, and that I really hope that he is just innocent in all this, and he's just like, I don't know what's happening.
No habla español.
And I'm just trying to play baseball, and this dude with a UC Riverside education took advantage of me. So I say fair that there is more to this, but I hope I'm wrong. I very much hope I'm wrong.
I'm with you. As much as us in media and us as baseball people would love to sit here and cover, Shohei would be a bigger shock than Pete Rose, in my opinion, because of the global phenomenon that he is. As much as I would love to be here and be covering something as monumental as that, please don't. My sport doesn't need that.
The bet heard around the world. Honestly,
Yeah, my sport needs good pub. My
Sorry to
sport
get down the
needs Acuna. My sport needs Julio. My sport needs Shohei. My sport needs Yamamoto. My sport does not need gambling.
I don't know if we'll need Yamamoto yet. He did get shelled
I
in
don't
his
know if
first
the
start.
Dodgers need Yamamoto.
My
Well,
God.
actually, I would argue they do need him.
Maybe he bet on himself to lose that day. So who knows?
One start dictates an entire career. That's what they always say in baseball.
All right, fair or foul number 2. Well, baseball fans, the Mets, Brewers, Phillies, and Braves will all have to wait an extra day to start their seasons in 2024. Of course, rain has caused both the Mets, who are hosting the Brewers, and the Phillies, who are hosting the
Oh,
Braves.
but I wanted to watch two mediocre teams in the Mets and Brewers play each other
Dude,
tomorrow.
at least that bridge collapse didn't affect the Orioles.
Thank God
opening
Orioles'
day.
first pitch is tomorrow, despite people potentially dying, Joe.
Actually, I think it's
Terrorism.
I think it's in LA.
Jesus, Joe. Terrorists attack our country, and you're worried about baseball.
Yeah, I am not talking about the bridge collapse. I am talking about rain in
That was
certain
really
cities.
wild,
That was, God, rest in peace to the 6 people that died. That's horrible. Anyways, rescheduling their opening day games from Thursday to Friday. Guys, it's 2024. Fair or foul, all baseball stadiums need a retractable roof at this point. Maybe except Wrigley or Fenway, but fair or foul.
Yeah.
Well, if you're an old curmudgeon, you get a pass.
Yeah.
What is this, DMV?
Well, aren't they historical, like baseball? I don't know. Those are like world renowned. I don't know, but fair or foul.
I was gonna say fair, but I just like the stadium roofs, I retract. I go foul because not just the Oriole or the Cubs or the Red Sox, but I just thought of my beloved Camden Yards.
Camden Yards, one of the best stadiums in baseball.
You know, there's a few other stadiums out there that have been built within the last 20 to 30 to 40 years that it's just they're fine. You know, this is one
Add
of those
a roof.
just like old curmudgeons behind the plate getting to call Ron and an umpire coming out and tossing dirt on the home plate. It's part of the game, baby. Just got to deal with it. We've been dealing with it for hundreds of years. Hundreds. Since 1700, we've been dealing with this. So I say foul.
I'll round this out with foul, too. Baseball's meant to be played outside. It's the ballpark. It's the sand lot. It's the down the street. It's what we grew up on. Baseball's meant to play outdoors. If you have the chance to have retractable, you do it. Yes, the Arizona Diamondbacks got rained out the other day because they can't retract the roof during a game due to safety concerns. Technology is advanced enough that we can do that now. Mariners roof closes in 20 minutes. Baseball, should be played outside. That's how it is. There's no roof on Yankee Stadium. There's never going to be a roof on Yankee Stadium. Baseball's
a
meant to
roof?
be played outside.
A roof.
Sorry, a roof.
Oh, damn it. I went away from the
No, I don't have it either.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, here we go.
Baseball should be played outside.
All right, guys, final fair or foul of the evening. This is your Baltimore Orioles question, Joe. Jackson Holiday tearing it up. I mean, I don't know. Some people said he was batting awesome. I think his average
Two
ended up
fantasy
being
leagues. He's my
okay.
starting shortstop.
Well, you're going to have to wait.
Well, yeah, unfortunately, you're going to
I
have to
grabbed Correa
wait
in a different one.
because he did get sent down to AAA to start the year. Yeah, I don't know. They want to manipulate his service time or not, but here's my
Don't need
question.
him.
Here's my question. Just like Julio Rodriguez, who won Rookie of the Year and did not get his service time manipulated, but if you finish in the top 2 of the Rookie of the Year, you automatically get a year of service time. Rookie of the Year voting, for that award. So fair or foul, Jackson Holiday, whenever he gets called up, because he will end up in the top 2 of the Rookie of the Year voting in 2024.
I'll start with this one. I think the Orioles are in a very precarious situation. Okay,
They're too good.
they've got 3 guys up right now in Gunnar Henderson. Hey Joe, where'd Gunnar Henderson finish in Rookie of the Year?
Oh, dear God. I mean, did he? He didn't win it. Did he win it? I don't even remember.
Joe,
It was so-
where
it
did
was so
where did
hard.
Adley Rutschman finish in Rookie of the Year voting?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you that either.
Joe, he won it. No, he didn't win it. He
Well,
lost
listen,
to Julio.
Jason Sukanik was in this chair
He
the
lost
other
to
day,
Julio.
and he didn't even know that he went first overall. So
Those
give
guys
me,
don't watch sports,
give
man.
me,
What do you
give me a
want?
break.
Between Gunnar Henderson, Grayson Rodriguez, and Adley Rutschman, you already have a massive youth core there, all right? That you have been fortunate that through good coaching and good development, we'll see about Grayson, but
Gunnar won.
Gunnar and Adley are bona fide starters in Major League Baseball. I think Baltimore is playing it safe. Let's not ride the hot hand as I saw sales manager bro Ryan Cooley do and then lose his money on the blackjack table.
Oh, boy.
They're holding it back. They're going to say, okay, yes, we know Jackson's ready. We know we want him up there, but let's pause. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. And unfortunately, Jackson will be the one. Do I think Jackson will finish in top 2 of the Rookie of the Year? I do. But I don't blame Baltimore for just pausing and breathing.
Well, he's got to F things up in Norfolk. He's got to tear things up for the
Norfolk.
Norfolk. Oh boy, the Norfolk Tides. That's one word. That is one word. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that they're gonna hold on to him because things are gonna be going just fine. But that doesn't really matter for calling dudes up. Like even if the team is great,
Is
like
J.J. Hardy playing short?
dude, I wish.
Cal Ripken?
I wish J.J. Hardy was just
Machado?
immortal. Just stayed the same age.
I love that I can name 3 Orioles shortstops.
I'm going to say foul. I'm trying to pull up the Rookie of the Year odds for MLB. Scrolling. Damn, his odds are really good.
Yep.
And outside of him, Colt Keith and Colton Cowser,
Right
also
now-
an Oriole.
Right now
Great
it's
odds.
Wyatt Langford at plus 225, Evan Carter 310, Jackson Holiday 450.
Damn it. Man, there's like 5 Orioles on this list.
I would place some big amounts of money on Jackson. That's at 450.
Jackson.
That's good.
All right, that is fair or foul. We do it every single Wednesday night.
You say top 2?
Yes, top 2, because that guarantees you a full year of service time, regardless of your team trying to manipulate it or not.
Soon to be every Tuesday night here as we will move to Tuesday next week. That is fair or foul. Thank you for joining. We come back. We'll wrap this bad boy up. Danny the Fan.
It's twice the madness. Join Danny and Dustin
Patrick, read Infinite Tuesday by Michael Nesmith. He examines the nature of Tuesday.
And how terrible it is.
You know, I'm thinking about doing that. Like,
But how much better it's about to get?
this is a wild thing. Wednesday has been a staple of my life for almost a decade.
It's a ritual at this point.
I mean, since we started this show, Joe, even before you were around. Now, you joined shortly after. I think me and Voldemort did it for 1 year, and then you jumped in as producer.
When did you get here? 2014?
14.
Yeah, so I think you guys had one season in the bag.
We had one season in the bag where Voldemort was the producer and I was the host, and then we grabbed you. Since then, I have had 1, 2, 3, 4. I am now in my 5th job, which doesn't sound great. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud. But
soon to be 6th.
No, soon to be 5th.
Soon to be 7th now
Thank
that
God.
you said it on air.
Shut up, Joe. But every time I've ever been in anywhere, I've had to say, they've said, what's your availability? And I always say, I'm fully available. Except for Wednesday nights. And that's my quarterback. That's my teammate. You know, and now it's going to be a Tuesday. It's wild. Like,
I feel like
I don't think it's going to be a big deal.
Dude, we
Joe,
can call this off, all right?
You and I talked behind the scenes, and we decided that this was the best move for both of us.
Did I pressure you?
No, you didn't at all, Joe. When
You know
I
what?
think
Screw
I
this.
mentioned
We're staying on Wednesdays.
I think I mentioned it, and you were like, "Yeah, that would actually be great."
Listen, it was the main motivator was programming reasons, and for the sake of baseball, and for when people give an F about baseball, and when we give an F about, well, we care about it all the time. But again, the most important part of the season: September, October, November. We don't want to get pushed back an hour.
And we were getting
anymore.
bumped, and that's nothing to do with our friends, our partners.
Go Ducks, baby.
Yeah, there's nothing to do with our friends, our partners at the Ducks and Learfield and all those wonderful people.
We get it, contracts,
as they go
right?
into the B1G. Like, contracts are huge, but the last thing I watched the end of Game 6 of the World Series at a bar because I should have been on the air, and that's not okay. Because at the end of the day, if this sound comes on the television, I want to be on the air.
This is basically the new Fernando Rodney horn.
Give me some Sugar Diaz, baby.
And if that's coming on and it's like, welcome into the hot corner. It is Game 7 of the World Series. The Mets are up 1-0 on the Mariners. This is it. This is what we're doing. That's where I want to be on.
Do you see Mariners World Series?
Mariners Mets, you just got me. You got my sports pants tight.
And the problem is that we kind of missed that. So much love to our friends Joey Mack and the Learfield crew and the Ducks over there, and we love being partners with them for football and basketball.
It's pretty cool.
And we'll get bumped a little bit during basketball season, but it'll be in the off season.
Again, if I'm going to trade one for the other, I'd rather be on the air in this 7 to 9 slot on a Tuesday.
Yep.
During September, October, November, during the most important part of the MLB regular season and postseason, without a doubt.
And I'll finish off with this. For those of you that think I will say, for it's a Tuesday, for it must be a Tuesday, that's not going to happen.
People are going to be so confused.
So confused.
But
I'm
I
going
don't
to be
care.
confused. I'm not here to
If you're
create catchphrases. You know, I never created that. It just happened.
If you're a true P1, if you're down with the show, you'll know exactly what you mean every time.
It must be a Wednesday, for it's always a Wednesday, just fell out of my mouth one day.
It fits.
And we just did that. But now we're going to Tuesday, and Tuesday's going to be great.
I'm down. I can't wait. I mean,
we're going to have to wait.
Yeah, it's going to have to happen. But
No, y'all are right. It is going to be fun.
Tuesdays, baby.
Day, and here's the first pitch, and the season's over.
There's
All
the
right,
Mets.
that'll do it for us. For Joe Fisher, I'm Patrick Harris. That's Jordan Schultze behind the glass. We'll see you next Tuesday from 7 to 9. Go do something I would do.